Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, February the 26th. Race number 8 at Sunland Park. It's the $100,000 Mine That Bird Derby. 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th. Let's take a look at this field for $100,000 named after one of Mike Beer's favorite Kentucky Derby winners, the Pluck. The number 7, How Did He Do That, is 2-1 on the morning line for trainer Steve Asmussen. Second in the prep for the Mine That Bird, the Riley Allison Derby.
Yeah, I guess he ran fine last time, Dan. I suppose more than anything else, he's favored in here because ultimately it's just not that much of a field. I'm not sure how good this horse is.
We'll throw up the Timeform US pace projector, and Mine That Bird himself would like this pace projector if it's correct. The red bar fast pace would help his late running style. Snowmen, the number 2, Wild on Ice, the number 3. These are horses that have shown speed in the past. With Snowmen, he was on the lead in a fast-paced sprint last time out. He tired. Now he's got to go longer on a fast pace.
Yeah, I guess this pace could get fast. Snowman is almost certainly going, Dan. He's a pretty fast horse. He didn't even break that well last time, and he was still contesting the pace in that race. The 3, I guess the key for the 3, Wild on Ice, would be to get off to a better start this time.
The number 1, Pass It Around, as you see, has tactical speed, and he should save valuable ground going into the first turn. He's still a maiden, however, but only after 2 lifetime starts. Here's his most recent race, a 6.5 furlong event at Sunland Park, where he'll finish 3rd. He got a solid pace to run at. He just sort of clunks up. He's well-bred. He's a half-brother to graded stakes-winning dirt sprinter Scaramouche, but he's going to have to stretch out and step up in class.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he can improve with the added distance. He's actually not really that strongly bred to stretch out, but we'll see. His debut, I thought, was fine. He did a little bit of late running in there. He was pretty bad last time, Dan, and I didn't really see the excuse.
Snowmen is the number 2. This horse graduated at Mountaineer Park 2 starts back, then sold for $22,000 through the auction ring at Keeneland. Made his first start for New Connections, going 6.5 at Sunland, and it was a fast-paced race. They ran that second quarter, sub 22 seconds, part of a contested pace. He got tired. Now he has to stretch out with other speeds, Lasix on. Big class test.
Big class test. I don't know that more distance helps him, Dan, after getting tired last time. But as mentioned, he didn't break that great in there. And then they just sort of sent him up the inside to contest the pace in there. The problem with giving him too much of an excuse for the fast pace is the horses that finished 1st and 2nd, they're the 2 horses that he was contesting the pace with. They lasted and he didn't.
The number 3 is Wild on Ice, and I think he's an interesting dirtied-up contender. He looked pretty good in his first 2 starts sprinting at Zia, Mike, including a pretty big figure performance in his second lifetime start against 2 life allowance horses. They ran him in the Riley Allison Derby without Lasix. Give the excuse for that race.
Well, we'll see if he actually has one. It's going to be interesting to see if Lasix was that big of a deal. First of all, he bumped a horse pretty hard at the start of that race, and he just wound up at the back of that field, which is probably not where they wanted him to be. And after that, he just got really headstrong. He wound up in behind horses for a long way in there. He was pulling really hard in that race. It almost felt to me, Dan, and it doesn't say anything about it in the chart, so who knows, but once he got room on the inside up the backstretch, it almost looked like his saddle had slipped, and he just really couldn't be ridden. He never looked comfortable in there, and he totally gave way. I wonder if he's really, really dirtied up off of that performance.
He's 8-1 on the morning line, and I think if he can rate a little bit and not pull, he'll be sitting a great spot off Snowmen, getting the jump on some questionable closers. He has some quality sprinting. The 4 is Henry Q, who's going to take some money based on this maiden win at Santa Anita last time out. In a restricted maiden race. Henry Q got a pretty good trip. It worked out for him. He was able to save ground. Now, for a second, it looked like this inside hole isn't going to materialize. It does. Frankie Dettori shoves him through, and Henry Q finishes it off pretty nicely.
Yeah, I agree with that. It did look like maybe he was in a little bit of trouble there, but ultimately it works out, and he's just the best horse in the race once he gets clear. Pretty good performance there. I actually thought he ran fine in his first 2 starts also, Dan. He didn't win either time. He ran fine in those races. Another horse who I guess it's questionable how far he wants to go, but he looks like a good fit in here.
This will be his first time around 2 turns. Edwin Maldonado takes the mount for trainer Todd Fincher. The 5 is Groovin, who was 5th in the Riley Allison Derby last time out. Just sort of settled near the back of the pack, Mike, tried to get into it with a wide rally and really never kicked on. He ran some decent races at Churchill Downs late last year. For him, a fast pace works, and I think he can kick late and maybe get a piece at a decent price.
I think that's probably true. And I guess there's a chance that he does get a fast pace here, Dan. We'll see how it plays out early. I thought he only ran okay last time, sort of a suck up 5th in there, but maybe that race was tougher than this one.
Be the first time you get a price on a horse like the 6, Decoration Day. 4 starts, he's been 9-2 or less in every single one of them. The problem is, not only is he stretching out for the first time and the distance is a question mark, he's already finished behind a couple of these horses.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really necessarily like any of his 4 starts so far, Dan. I mean, I guess he's run fine in them, but his last 2 in particular against winners, he just didn't really do that much running either time.
Number 7 is, how do you do that? Stakes winning sprinter. He won the Zia Juvenile late last year. Asmussen usually finds spots for these horses, and I think he's trying to do that with how did he do that? Realizes he's not a true top 3-year-old, but you can still make bank with him. He ran on the Smarty Jones 2 starts back. He got wired by a decent horse, Victory Formation, just sort of ran on in a one-pace manner after saving ground. Here's the Riley Allison Derby, his most recent appearance, where he finished ahead of 3 of the rivals he'll face on Sunday. He's going to alter course to the outside in the stretch. And Mike, he's just kind of a grinding type. He lacks acceleration. These horses in front of him got away from him entering the turn, and now he's going to grind up to get second. I think this extra distance helps.
Yeah, that's probably true. He does stay on pretty well here, and he's clearly second best at the end of this race. It's also worth noting that he was in a little bit tight in the early stages of that race. It took him a while before he got fully clear. And then once he did get fully clear, he did run on. I find it hard to really knock him down, especially in this kind of a spot. He's certainly the horse to beat. I just don't think he's, some kind of super talented horse who can't lose here.
Here's another stretch out sprinter, the number 8 Malmo, son of Kentucky Derby winner Nyquist, listed as a first-time gelding. Let's watch his most recent start. It was his first of the year, and it was that fast-paced sprint that we talked about earlier that Snowman was in. He'll eventually finish 3rd. Malmo is close to that fast pace. He finishes 2nd. Distance a big question, but I think he has the pedigree to do it.
Yeah, I do too. He runs on here. He's never getting by this horse that's on the lead, who was the actual 8-5 favorite in there. But he stayed on pretty well at the end. That was Snowman who wound up fading there to finish 3rd. He ran okay last time, Dan. He was off a little bit of a layoff. Maybe he gets better with more distance. He should be a fair price.
The number 9, Zia Zapper, was a stakes winner at the Downs at Albuquerque in his second lifetime start. That was a 3/4 of a mile race. As the waters have gotten deeper, he hasn't really been able to step up and grab the brass ring. Outside post, 6-1 to me seems a little bit light. I need more.
Yeah, I agree with you. Another horse, I guess he could take advantage of a fast pace. He kind of ran the same race that Grooven did last time, where they just, were both far back early. They were picking up some pieces late, but they never looked like they were going to win.
Before we get to our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for Sunday's race of the day, the Mind That Bird Derby. Usually a prep for maybe a race like the Sunland Derby. Who knows? Maybe something bigger down the line. Wild on Ice. Interesting, Mike, off that last race. You might have seen something in the tape that thinks he's not as bad as that running line indicates. What price do you take on a horse like this? He's square on the morning line.
Yeah, 8-1 morning line is very fair on this horse. I could go lower than that on him, Dan, because I really feel like he only has the 7 to really be that concerned about. And here, I could easily give him another chance at any kind of a price. Then I'll give him excuse for the last one. I liked his prior 2 starts.
I'm not sure this is a betting event for me. I think how did he do that is the horse to beat. I'm not sure I want to take 2-1 or 9-5 on him, though. I think he'll be running on at the end of this race, but it could be a carbon copy of the last start where he comes up a little bit short. 3-7-4-8 for Mike, 7-4-5-8 for me. It's Sunday's feature at Sunland Park. It's the Mind That Bird Derby. Good luck.